Hello all, welcome to the DevOps Planet. In this video, we will see that how we can use the images which are publicly available on the Docker Hub. So for example, if you want to launch a Docker container for the MySQL database, so what you will do, you will launch a container from the Ubuntu image and you will install the database inside that. But we already have publicly available images that are officially available on the Docker Hub. We can directly launch a container using those images, and in that case, we need not to install any tool on that. So in this video, we will see that how we can launch MySQL database using the publicly available image on the Docker Hub. So for this, first go to any browser and type here Docker Hub. So this is the official Docker Hub repository. Here you can search the image. So in this video, I am going to use MySQL database. So I'm searching MySQL. Now this is the image that you will use to launch the Docker container. So click on this. Here you can see that there are multiple tags which are available for this version. So if you want to use launch 5.7 version, here is the tag. If you want to use any other version of the image, so these are the tags available. And if you scroll down, you can see that how to launch this container using this image. So here you can see they have given you the example also for the Docker command. So in this command, you can see they have passed the name of the Docker container, and here you can see they are setting one environment variable that is the password of the database. So when you will authenticate to the database, at that time you need a username and password. So my by default the username is root, and the password you will pass when you launch the Docker container. So let me launch a Docker container. So first let me check whether I have any image or not. So currently I don't have any image. Now let me launch a Docker container. So I'm using Docker run command. I'm giving it name MySQL 1. And here I will use this image. So the image name is MySQL, and I'm using 5.7 version. So it will download this version image and it will launch a container. Now again, based on the official documentation, we need to define one environment variable. So we need to pass the variable, the value of this variable, that is password. So let me pass. So I'm passing the name hyphen e, and the variable name I'm copying from here, and password I'm keeping it simple, 1234556. This is the password to log in into my MySQL database. Now one more thing which I want to introduce here is port forwarding. So what happens if I launch this container, I will able to log uh, in this database using the container IP address. But what if I don't want to use the container IP address? I want to use my local machine IP address. So first let me launch a container using this. So first it will download the image because it says that it is not able to find the image MySQL 5.7. So it will download the image and then it will launch a Docker container. So as we can see, it download a new image which this version. Now it is launching a Docker container. So that is also done. So let me check whether the container is running or not. So I can see one container is running using this image version, and it has created 12 seconds ago. Now let me log in into my MySQL database. So for that I need the IP address of this container. So I'm fetching the IP address using Docker inspect command. This is the IP address. So the command to log in inside the MySQL database is MySQL hyphen u. U is for the username. Hyphen h is for the host name. So here we are going to pass this IP, and then hyphen p, hyphen small p is for the password. So it will prompt for the password, and we can see that we are able to log inside the MySQL database. So now if you see, when I log in inside this MySQL database, I use the IP address of the Docker container. But what if I want to use the IP of my local machine? So for that there is one concept, that is port forwarding. So port forwarding is what? I will write here one parameter, that is hyphen p, and I will type the port of my local machine, and I will add this port to the Docker container. So by default, the port for the MySQL is 3306. So here what I'm writing, that whatever is traffic is coming on my local machine 3306 port will be redirected to the container machine 3306. So if I try to connect port number 3306 on my local machine, it will redirect internally to the container port number 3306. So let me launch one more container. So I'm changing the name and I'm using the same image and the same password. So this time what I have done, I have allowed the port forwarding here. I have applied the port forwarding here. So if you do the sudo docker ps, so you can see earlier in the ports, there was only one port coming, that was the Docker container port. But now you can see, we can see the redirection rule here. So if someone allowed to connect on my local host machine using this port, that the traffic will be redirected to the container port. So now let me first log in into the MySQL using the container IP address. So let me fetch the IP. What was the name? Okay, it was MySQL. So this is the IP. So let me use this command again. So we can see that we are able to log in inside the MySQL database using the container IP address. Now let's try with the local machine IP address. So first let me fetch the IP of my local machine. So I'm using the ifconfig command, and this is the IP of my local machine, 192.168.1.48. So I'm using the same command here, but this time I will use this IP address, and that is the IP of my local machine, not the container. So I have passed this IP. Also, I need to define the port, that on this machine I want to connect to which port. So for that, we have option, that is hyphen capital P, and here I will pass the port, that is 3306. So now this command will try to connect on my local machine IP address on this port. So let's see what happened. So it is asking for the password. Let me type the password and press enter. So you can see that we are able to log in to the database directly without using Docker container IP address. Yeah. So that's how the port forwarding works. So in the port forwarding, we define the port on which we want to connect on our local machine, and then we define the port that to which the local machine port will connect to the Docker container. So here I use the 3306 because this is the default MySQL port, and this is the local machine port. So when I will try to connect with my local machine port using my local machine IP address, it will redirect all the traffic to the container. So that is how you can use the public available images on the Docker Hub, and that is how you can apply the port forwarding also. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching this.